I love React icons. It's a great library. You can just import this path as a component and then render it, and you get all of these lovely icon sets just right there. They respond to CSS just the same as you would like them to. Works great. The problem is the website to search for the icons that I'm looking for is super slow. So if I try to type arrow here, A-R-R-O-W, I'm not getting any feedback at all as I type. And now I'm going to delete this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's pretty rough. Now there are some rendering problems here with this giant grid that's being rendered that we could go and attack. But you know what? Sometimes it's Friday and you got to ship and you don't have time to dig in and become a performance expert. And this is a very common problem that a lot of apps run into where an input is not very responsive at all. So here's a performance thing that you should probably always do if you have a type ahead kind of thing or a filtering search as you type. You always want to give priority to the user typing. So we're just going to do something very simple and debounce the typing here. So I'm going to import debounce, if I could type it, from low-debounce. So debounce says, if a function gets called, let's not call it for some number of milliseconds. Let's wait and see if it gets called again. And if it gets called again, don't call it. So maybe the function gets called, and debounce is going to say, nope, not yet. Let's wait 500 milliseconds. And then the function gets called again. Maybe there's 100 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds in between here. So it says, nope, don't call yet. Let me get rid of that. And then let's say that we hit another character 10 milliseconds later. So nope, we're not going to call it. And then after 500 milliseconds, let's say 500 ms comes in here, then the function will actually get called. So that's how debounce works. It doesn't call the function for a set amount of time, and then it resets that timer again if the function gets called again. So we want to debounce this on change here. I could just say debounce here, but I don't actually want to do this in line because then I'm creating a new debounced function every time. We want to debounce something that already exists. So we need to turn this into a class. So we'll say class is search input and extends React component. Drop our render in here, cut and paste some stuff. Let's get our elements, move them. I used to call this template, and then I started calling it markup. Now I call it elements, and I like that. Okay, so then up here, we're going to enhance our search input. And then now let's make a handle change thing here. And that is going to be this. So let's pull this out, drop it up here. And then down here, we'll say on change, handle change. And now here's where we can debounce things. Actually, we can't debounce yet. We need to do this .props.search. All right, so now we debounce right here. Let's debounce that function. Let's wait 500 milliseconds. If they type within 500 milliseconds, then don't call the function. And then if they've done nothing for 500 milliseconds, then call the function. So this, if you know React pretty well, you're going to know that this will not work. If you think you know React well, pause the video and think about why this won't work. I'm going to type arrow, A-R-R-O-W. Warning, this synthetic event is reused for performance reasons. If you're seeing this, you're accessing the property target on a released nullified synthetic event. This is set to null, yada, yada, yada. All right, so this event thing that comes in here, remember debounce just hangs on to this function, and then it's going to wait 500 milliseconds before calling it. So it's got to hang on to this argument too. So it's going to hang on to this event. But React, for performance reasons, releases this event, nullifies it. And so on a different tick in the JavaScript event loop, this event is useless to us. So what we need to do is be able to call handle change. We could just do it with just the value, right? So let's make an inline function here, And now we'll have the event. And so we can pass in event target value. We'll just pluck off the one bit of this event that we need before it gets released and send that to our handle change. So up here we'll get our value and we'll just pass that in. Now somebody just got mad at me who's watching this video like, oh, I heard that you're not supposed to have inline functions, that they're bad for performance. Making inline functions is not that expensive. I mean, heck, right here we just called a function that, maybe that one doesn't. But anyway, and when you map over things, every time you map over an array, you're creating a new function right there in render. Making new functions is not expensive. The expensive part is if this was a pure component and now you're going to diff on your props that come in, and then that diff is going to always be different because it's looking at the identity of the two functions and they're different. But this is not a pure component. It's not even a custom component. And so there's no diff that's going to be happening with these props anyway. So it's not going to slow down our app. And besides, we only have one of these things right there, just one search input. But yeah, this is, inline functions is not your problem. Something else is. All right, so now we can just pass that value up. And let's see how this goes this time around. Arrow. Then we wait the 500 milliseconds, then we get a nice render. House. Car. I wonder why house has hourglass. Why do any of these have house? H-O-U-S-E. That's funny. All right. Okay, there you go. Quick, you can see that first grid is still really slow. Like if we delete everything, you can see this render takes a long time. So that's another problem that we'll want to deal with. So there are deeper problems with rendering here that maybe I'll be able to make a video later and make those fast too. But you know, this is definitely shippable now. I can drop in that arrow and it looks good. I could even drop my CPU down probably a little bit. Come in here to performance, drop us down to 2x. So got a machine that's half as fast as mine. Type house in here, or hosu. Do our arrow. Still pretty good. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. Quick fix, debounce. Fortunately about this is a quick fix that you're gonna want anyway. You should always debounce a user input, or at least throttle a user input, which is a different thing. Throttle or debounce any kind of type ahead thing. If you like this, go check out our website, reacttraining.com. We've got live workshops teaching React and online courses and all sorts of good stuff. Thanks.